And what a busy morning it is, Michael.
It is a busy morning. We're going to get right to that high-stakes showdown this morning. Take a live look. Right now, Georgia voters are going to the polls to cast the final votes in two runoff elections.
Control of the Senate and the early course of Joe Biden's presidency at stake. If Democrats win both, they take control of the Senate. Republicans hold the Senate with a split. Both President Trump and President-elect Biden rallied in Georgia on Monday, but the president focused on his futile calls to overturn Joe Biden's victory in the state.
So our senior White House correspondent, Cecilia Vega, will have the latest on the president's rally overnight and growing fallout over his refusal to acknowledge the election results of November. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hi, Robin. Good morning to you. President Trump, you know this, he is in denial. He cannot believe that it is possible that he lost this election. Court after court around this country has found zero evidence of widespread voter fraud. And now with all eyes on Georgia this morning, elections officials there are debunking his false conspiracy theories one by one, Republican election officials. Overnight in Georgia, something rarely before seen in this country, an American president desperately clinging to power, refusing to believe the reality that he lost an election.
And they're not taking this White House. We're going to fight like hell, I'll tell you right now.
It was supposed to be a rally for the two Republicans in Georgia's special election. The outcome of today's high-stakes vote determines which party controls the Senate. But President Trump was fixated on his own election.
There's no way we lost Georgia. There's no way.
But he did lose in all three of the state's counts. And as Congress prepares to certify the election results tomorrow, President Trump delivering a not-so-veiled threat to Vice President Mike Pence, who will preside over the joint session.
I hope Mike Pence comes through for us, I have to tell you. I hope that our great vice president comes through for us. He's a great guy. Of course, if he doesn't come through, I won't like him quite as much.
But Pence does not have the power to overturn the election. This a day after the release of that stunning call where the president seemingly threatened Georgia's Republican Secretary of State, telling him to recalculate the results and find more votes.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes.
Now, President Trump delivering a new threat.
I'm going to be here in a year and a half, and I'm going to be campaigning against your governor and your crazy Secretary of State. That I can tell you.
The backlash, fierce. One top Republican election official in the state delivering this scathing rebuke.
The president's legal team, from our point of view, intentionally misled the state Senate, voters, and the people of the United States.
Republican Senator Pat Toomey calling the recording a new low in this whole futile and sorry episode. And from Congresswoman Liz Cheney, one of the top Republican leaders in the House.
I think that it was deeply troubling.
And Democrats asking the FBI to investigate. This as more than half of House Republicans and 13 Republican senators are expected to challenge the results of the election when Congress formally counts the Electoral College votes tomorrow. What is usually a drama-free ceremony that takes less than an hour is now expected to be a long, drawn-out fight, with the president's allies potentially forcing an all-night debate, even though they do not have the votes to overturn Biden's decisive win. Back in Georgia, President-elect Joe Biden on the attack.
Politicians cannot assert, take, or seize power. Power is given, granted by the American people alone.
Now, again, in this push to deny the results of the election, President Trump is calling on his supporters to show up for protests here in Washington, and they are listening. There is a protest planned for later today right here in D.C., and tomorrow, President Trump supporters have a permit for 30,000 people to gather right here behind me. President Trump is expected to attend, and I've got to say, D.C. officials here in the city are very worried about the potential for violence. They've got extremist groups, like the Proud Boys, that are expected to show up. D.C. officials already arrested the leader of that group when he showed up into town here yesterday. And Michael, now the National Guard has been activated to try and keep the peace here in this city.
Hopefully there is no violence. Cecilia, thank you so much for that.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.